So when you're looking at the law of attraction or the law of creation, and you want to manifest a new lover or boyfriend or a girlfriend, um, the asking part of it is already automatically done. You've been asking for this lover for quite some time. So one of the things I tell people is you don't need to worry about the asking. The asking part is done. What's the most important part of this is the allowance part. The the ability to let that person show up in your physical experience to where you can actually kiss him or her. That's really what you're looking to be able to do. And that, some people will call that a journey. Some people will call that the process or whatever that is. But whatever you want to call that, the time, the perception of time between when you ask for it and when he or she shows up in your physical reality will be when you become a vibrational, or I like to say emotional, because it makes more sense that way, when you become an emotional match for having that person and being with that person in your life. Yeah, so when you're looking to create a new lover or a new girlfriend, or a new boyfriend, or a new relationship, or whatever you're looking to create in the area of relationship, it's so important that you begin to experience the feeling and kind of mock up in your imagination being with that person, walking with that person, or going for a swim with that person, going out to dinner with that person, laughing with that person, kissing that person, feeling the warmth of a hug with that person. All of these things that you would be feeling on an emotional level have if you were in the physical presence of this person. So until you can experience yourself feeling being with that person, they can't show up for you to experience or for you to realize. So one of the things is it becomes really, really powerful when you can recognize you're not looking for a specific person. You can put in attributes of things that you want, which are wonderful, but what you're actually after is the feeling of having this person in your life. So I tell people, just stay with the feeling of being with that person. And if you want to begin to imagine him or her looking a certain way, or smelling a certain way, or physically walking a certain way, all those things are wonderful and fine, but don't get stuck on those being what you're looking for in the manifestation, because you don't know how this surprise or how this is going to happen until it shows up there for you. And when you do it this way and you stand in the feeling of having it, and you keep standing in the feeling of having it, you'll know right away when she shows up or when he shows up. You'll be really, really clear. So if you're still watching this video and you've heard some things that might have resonated with you and you think there might be something possible for you, click down below, get in touch with me, let's have a conversation, and you're going to know immediately whether or not this is a match. And whatever ends up happening, it's absolutely perfect. But I sure would love to connect with you and just have a conversation. So there's no accidental creation of a bad relationship. Sometimes people say, if this law of attraction were so true, there's no way that I would actually create this horrible toxic relationship I'm in. And a lot of times I tell them, I didn't say that you were aware of what you were creating. I just said it's that you were creating it. And it's actually really good news to know that you're creating it all, because the flip side of that means that then that life is just a random happenstance, and whatever's going to happen to you is going to happen. And that creates for a human being on this planet, in this time-space continuum, that creates real fragility, real fragileness, or it's a kind of underground of kind of fear, right? Because if you don't have any certainty or any predict on influencing the things that are showing up in your life, it can be a scary journey, because you're only bumping into things that happen that you feel good about, and then things that happen that you feel bad about, and then things that happen that you're indifferent to. And your life becomes this just kind of reaction to circumstances and events in your present time environment. And there's no creation in that. Some of the famous or most common passages of that is, that it's so commonplace for people to feel like this kind of lethargic or apathetic about their conditions of life. You see somebody and say, how are you doing? They say, same shit, different day. There's a lot of these sayings in the culture that kind of lead to like my inability to actually have a say in creating the things that I want in my life. So when something manifests, or a relationship is manifest and it seems or is labeled toxic for you, there's never, ever, ever a situation that's happened where there's somebody that's done something to somebody. It's always your separation from yourself that's causing the pain or causing the discomfort. So said differently is who you actually are in your largest, truest sense is your love, your unconditional love, actually, your appreciation, your joy, your all of these attributes or characteristics of a human being that don't carry any resistance with them. They're resistance free. And what happens is, as you begin to be in these relationships that aren't working for you and you start to feel bad, well, if you don't realize that you're not feeling bad because somebody's actually doing something, but the reason you're feeling bad is because you have a viewpoint that the bigger part of you, which is unconditional love, is not sharing with you. Well, at that point, then you can start to bring home your ability to not make other people responsible or have other people and try to control other people to be some certain kind of way so you can feel good. When you start playing the game at this level, you start to be responsible for how you're feeling instead of trying to control everything out there to have you feel some kind of way. And you basically, what you do is you let everybody off the hook. And it's the only real shot you've got. It's the only chance you have, because if you look at these people that are walking around trying to control everybody, as soon as they get someone under control, they change their mind and go do something else, or they get influenced somewhere else. Like, it's such a hopeless endeavor to try to do it, that even if you have some semblance of controlling your environment, number one, your environment's shrinking because you can only control so little bit of it. And then number two, they're really worn out and exhausted. You look at these people, they've got this tattered look on their face. They're just kind of beat up from trying to control all these circumstances instead of taking back on and getting the onus on, like, wow, I feel bad when I start negatively judging people and circumstances in my life, and I'm the source of this negative feeling, not these other people.